Hey guys, Debo here. This is the second part of the video series about the Tallman's Finger in 2.1.1, showcasing the, well, if you want to see all the gear that's on all the skills and stuff like that, you can check for video part 1, but this is part 2, in which we're going to continue where we left off at. We left at Greater Rift level 34. 34 I can perform at 70 or 60 to 70% consistency. Hopefully I can put on a good show for you guys, and the Rift is nice. We can get to 35, and if I cap out at 35, I'm perfectly okay with that. But damage is looking good from the start. Pet's looking fantastic. That's really good. That was a really good first elite. That just dropped really quick. I got my fetishes out. Look like we're at 13 right now. And we got the Tallman's Finger on the fire for the AoE damage. And everything's looking pretty solid so far. So if we can just get some good mob density, then I think this will be easy to pass. If we don't get good mob density, then it's kind of up in the air. If you're wondering what mob density is, it's just basically the amount of monsters inside a Greater Rift. Sometimes you might get a Greater Rift where it just doesn't have enough mobs. And, you know, sometimes it happens. Like, if you always do, like, 34, and then all of a sudden, like, a couple runs, you can't do 34 in time because you don't get enough mobs or you get a lot of crazy-ass monsters, don't beat yourself up. It's normal. Greater Rifts are very random. How well you do in a Greater Rift is determined by what monsters you have. Have a Greater Rift full of Act 5 monsters with low density, that really pushes you unless you got a build that can just, you know, get through it and persist through the whole Rift. You get a bunch of Act 1 mobs and like a lot of high mob density or something like that, man, that Rift, you're going to be doing Rift levels that you didn't think you could do. And that's hopefully something I hope Blizzard addresses in the future, because Greater Rifts are a little bit too random in my opinion. Now, I know this whole game is based on RNG, but if there's something involving leaderboards and, you know, making things more static, I really think they need to relook at how they do the ladder systems and how they do the ranking system, because currently the way they rank you is based on how high you can get in the Greater Rift. And the big problem with that is a lot of people go into people groups. They have like hundreds of trial keys, and they use the trial keys and they ramp up in a party and they get the trial keys up to, like, let's say they're trying to rank at level 40. You get about 100 keys, you make 100 level 40 gems, and what people are doing is just simply, they know they can have a good chance to do level 40. They can't do level 40 consistently, so what they do is they run a bunch of level 40 keys. Let's say they have 100 level 40 keys, they keep running level 40 until they get that one run through where they have Conduit Shrine and good mobs, and basically it takes away from, it doesn't reward you for being consistent, it just rewards you for kind of like getting lucky. Like, if you get lucky in a Rift and you can rank on a high level with, that's how you rank. And hopefully Blizzard does something more in a system where, like, they reward you points upon what level you clear and then basically rank you on the point system, as opposed to just how high you can get. Because in the current meta right now, that's what people are doing. When they want to consistently, or when they want to rank at a certain level, they just get a bunch of those keys, run it over and over again until they can pass it, until they get a good amount of conduit pylons and stuff like that. But I did hear that in the next season, they're taking all the shrines out of the Greater Rifts, which is really good, because I don't think they have a place there. And that kind of stops people from cheesing the Rifts, where you're just basically spamming the Rifts over and over again until you get a Conduit Shrine and you get the perfect setup that you want, because we all can agree it's not fun spamming, you know, the same level key over and over again just to get that one Rift that's good, and then you rank, and you don't really even feel like that's an accomplishment that much, because we just basically cheese the Rift. But I mean, players will do what the developers allow them to do, but like I said, hopefully that will fix a couple things next season and they'll rethink about doing the system. But, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. I know they're going to be putting a torment restriction or level restriction, so like you won't be able to set the game on torment as soon as you start next season. You'll actually have to get to a certain level, which I do welcome, and they did get rid of all the bounties that people were going crazy with. The bounties that basically you can do or complete without finishing them, or without killing the monsters and stuff, or without having to do anything like that. You just wait out the timer and you get the experience and stuff. So that's definitely something to look forward to the next seasons, and I'm glad they got rid of the Paragon exploit, and also hopefully they get rid of the Baroness Endless Goblin exploit, because that's still in the game. But we'll have to see. Only Blizzard knows, and I'm not too sure if the season's going to be 2 months or 3 months. If it's 2 months, it should end in October, I think. And then if it's 3 months, it'd be November. So My whole goal is just to get the pet build to 37. If I can get it performing consistently on 35 and then clear for 37, 38, I'll be really happy for the pet build, and I think the pet build will be in a good place. And then I might try to do Jade 38 or 39. It depends. I don't know if I want to cheese the Rift, you know, but we'll see. But I'm definitely looking forward to the next season when things can be a little bit more sanctioned. And like I said, we're just running through this level 34 Rift. Nothing too special about it. Hopefully we can keep getting some okay. We're getting okay mob density. I like to have a little bit more, but it's okay. We haven't really ran up versus any tough monsters, so I guess that's, to be fair, that's kind of fair. Because it could be giving me more mob density in Act 5 mobs. Most of these mobs are Act 1 mobs, so it's not too bad. But I'd like to see a couple more mobs. I'd like to see a couple more elites pass this level indefinitely. And so I could show you guys 35 where the pets are doing pretty damn good. They're doing okay right now. Got another elite coming up, so that's good. Thunderstorm, as you see, I'm not taking instant shot damage because we got a lot of toughness and we got a lot of consistency. Now in the future I might actually drop a little bit of toughness to get more damage in, but for now, for just trying to get the rifts to be more consistent and make everything just kind of more balanced out, I like running a good amount of toughness because it makes you drop a lot easier. Because it gets kind of, at least in my opinion, it gets very frustrating when you're running a lot of damage like some people do, and like you're expected to dodge every single thing, or you get one hit by one mortar shot and you die. I don't like that. I like more of a, you know, hey, look, I got good damage, I got good survivability, everything's working out really good. That's the kind of build I want to get behind. I don't want to get behind too much of a glass cannon build. Wizards can kind of get away with it because they got teleport. I could see a wizard playing like more like glass cannon-ish, but for a witch doctor, I think it's just more about consistency, having good toughness, making the correct decisions, and just not doing anything too crazy. Alright, looking pretty good here. Got another elite. Now he got reflect, so I know he's about to start reflecting again, so now I'm going to stop Rain-a-Toadsing. And see how I stop right before you start doing reflect again? Now I'm just going to wait. Now you can spirit walk and do Rain-a-Toads while he was reflecting, but you got to be careful. But now since it's off now I can go ahead and start doing Rain-a-Toads, and now I'm going to stop because he might start reflecting again. And it's dead. So we're looking pretty good here, getting some pretty solid mobs. Act 1 mobs, real easy shit, some Act 2 mobs, no bees, no Act 5 shit. I must remind you, again, if you do get a maiden, Death Maiden, or you get a Morlu, which is the guys who cast a meteor on the ground, your pets will die. Well, not so much, the sycophants are definitely going to die. The ones from the Scale of the Fetish Army take a little bit longer to die, depending on how much toughness you are. If you're running the pet gem, they probably won't die that easy or at all. If you're running the pet gem and Jungle Fortitude passive because you got a Hellfire Amulet, that will provide you a lot of toughness and the pets won't die at all. But then again, you might start sacrificing damage and having too much toughness. But like I said, I kind of like the toughness because it's really saved my ass. Like, I'm not getting one-shotted by, you know, mortar shots, and I'm not getting two-shotted by jailer. I can take 3 or 4 jailers before I die. You know, I feel like when I have more toughness, if I do play careful and have the toughness, like, less things can really set me up to die and kill me. Makes things a lot more consistent. And I say that like 8,000 times, but I always tell people you want to have a consistent character as opposed to a character that just basically, you know, it's like, oh, well, shit, you know, unless if I get these kind of monsters, I get completely shut down, and I don't like that in the build. Like, even if I get Morlus, even if I get Maidens, I want to be able to always be able to perform with some type of consistency where I can take them down instead of just basically being like, well, if I get this one mob at this level, I automatically lose. I don't like that. I like to be able to deal with every single scenario and perform well with the build. Alright, so everything seems to be going pretty good. Still getting good mobs, good mob density. I just had that reflect mob back there. You guys saw I stopped, you know, doing Rain-a-Toads and just played it safer. Alright, another room here. Got another elite. Cool. Looks like everything's pretty straightforward. Just gotta dodge the poison and everything like that. We got good toughness. So, like I said, that jailer damage didn't really do anything because I got a good amount of toughness. And we're just playing safe. I am trying to not use my Spirit Walk if I can avoid it. Spirit Walk is for emergencies. Just playing it safe. Don't want to die. I know he's about to die. Got some orbs. Just so now I'll Spirit Walk and grab the orbs. That was kind of dangerous to Spirit Walk to this side of the room. I should have went out the other doorway because if there could have been a mob or something there that could have killed me. So I'm still trying to improve my play myself and affect my mechanics. And people say, "Oh, there's no mechanics in Diablo." I mean, just making the correct decisions, like spirit walking behind a monster. I know some people like to kind of bait the instances and just keep running and keep it moving and just kind of lure the. Like some people will actually run past the elites and stuff like that, trying to get into the next ones and just running around. I kind of don't like to do that. I can see where that would be beneficial because, you know, you're kind of like kiting the monsters with you and you're moving through the dungeon at the same time. But I just prefer to play safe because I realize, like, a lot of the times of me, like, if you play like really aggressive in a rift, that can actually get you ahead and make your times better. But for it's just as much time that can improve your time and stuff like that, it's like there's a lot of times where if you just would have played it safe, you wouldn't have died. And like you wouldn't have had to done a big crazy run back. And that's why I tell people you just want to get the fundamentals. You want to play safe, you want to play smart. Like right here at this point, how far I'm in, it's better for me to play safe. Because if I play safe, then I don't really have much to worry about because I don't have to worry about that long run back. To play aggressive right now would be a little silly because yeah, I could get ahead and I could get that little extra time or make the meter go up that much faster, but if I die, that run back is gonna hurt me. Now, if you want to play aggressive, like if you just got to a floor level and there's a bunch of mobs and you want to play aggressive then and go crazy, you can, because if you die, you're not gonna lose that much time running back. Like right now, if there was like a big mob and I wanted to be aggressive, I could. Not a big deal. Because why? Because if I die, I'm at the front anyway. It's not a big deal. But when you start getting halfway through these big ass maps, when you get like a good way in, like you don't want to risk shit, because if you risk it and you die, you just basically kill. You can sometimes kill a run that way. Whereas if you were just, you know, take an extra 15 seconds, you would have came out ahead and then everything would have been a lot better. Like you see how I'm positioning myself outside the room. But now if I wanted to play a little aggressive, like coming in spirit walk here and just start running in and get ahead and start baiting the monster, like getting towards the next monster, I could do that. Because if I die, the run back's not that bad. But for me, like I said, I like to play like that grandpa style where I just play really safe. You know, whereas like right now, aggressive style will probably do a little bit better because you can just run ahead, bait the monster, start setting up for your next elites. But I kind of don't like to do that. That's just my preference. Because, like I said, I like playing safe. Because the way I feel is the greater rifts are so random. And they're so random right now that you don't know what you're going to be going against sometimes. So I just rather just kind of just go at a nice pace and just say, well, if I get a good... If you play safe, like playing safe is really good with a high mob density. Like playing safe, if you just happen to get good mobs and high mob density, it rewards... The play safe style, I feel, kind of rewards it a little bit more. But like... If you have a greater rift where you don't have a lot of mob density, then it actually might be better to play aggressive because you can get through the level and get to the next pack of monsters. Because if you try to play too safe and you have bad mob density, then that can hurt you in the long run. So I mean, you know, you just got to make the right decisions. But in a world of so much RNG, I just find that if you play safe, for the most part, you do well. Like we played safe through this whole rift. We got a good amount of meter. I think we're going to pass this okay. Really comes down to the greater rift boss and how the rest of the mob density is going to be. The mob density is so-so right now. We got an elite right here. I don't know what fixes he got. Vortex, extra health. So we're going against Vortex. So remember, we got to save our spirit walk for when he does Vortex us. So we cannot die or get instantly gibbed on some lightning. So I will actually save my spirit walk. He's Vortex. He may not even Vortex me, which is cool. But just in case he does, I can Spirit Walk instantly. But he's going to go down pretty much no problems. Good mob density. This might trigger the Rift boss, hopefully after this mob right here. And since we just killed this last boss, yep, and we get the 20% increased damage. Now I got the Skeleton King here. I can actually play a little bit risky here. And that's okay. Got a bunch of minions out. So I'm just going to try to play safe, keep moving so he can't really get on me too much. If he teleports on me, I will Spirit Walk just to be safe. But for the most part, I think I'm okay. He teleported away. Got a bunch of fetishes out. And, well, he cut it. The fetish sycophants are going to die. Like, right there, you teleport me, so I just decided to get away. But the fetish sycophants are going to die. The ones from the skill are fine, and that's the main thing. And we got the zombie dog there doing good damage. So this 34 looks like it's going to be a wrap. Skeleton King, when he does get low. Well, he's not called Skeleton King, but we all know it is. He does like to cast his little bit of... you know, jailer, which doesn't hurt us because we have a good amount of toughness. We got down these last couple seconds, 53, 52, 51, and we got 51 seconds left. So that was pretty cool. Things could have went a little bit quicker, maybe if I would have ran a little bit more damage or played a little bit more aggressive. But then again, if you get those rifts that have a lot of mob density, like I probably could have beat like floor 34 like 3 minutes ahead depending, but I like to play consistently. I like to play strongly. I don't like to risk too much shit. I just would prefer to wait for the rift to give me good mobs and stuff like that for me to get ahead. I don't like to risk too much. I like to make a build that can perform well. You know, running high damage actually can be very good and nets you faster runs, but just as much as, like, you know, having high damage and like just going for pure damage might seem like a good idea, you could just have that one rift run where it's like this one boss just automatically one-shots you, and whereas if you would have had toughness to just survive a couple of hits, you could have basically made a better time on actually killing that boss or killing that monster if you had a little bit more toughness instead of running all damage. But in the long run, in terms of doing high level greater risks, damage is superior, but because I guess at some point you're always just gonna die, right? So just running a lot of damage and just basically saying, well, if I get a bad set of monsters, I'll just cancel the rift, I'll leave the rift and just keep doing greater risks until I get that perfect greater rift dungeon where I'm not getting one-shotted by crazy level monsters and my damage will really help me get through it. But I don't like to play that way. But if you like to, I understand, because both ways actually make sense and they both get the job done at the end of the day, because all you have to do is rank at a high level once and you rank up on the ladders. Who cares if you got really good monsters or if you had to manipulate it with a conduit shrine? At the end of the day, a rank is a rank. So, you know, I can understand why people are doing that. But anyways, that was part 2 in the video. We're going to go ahead and do part 3, and then we're going to spin all my blood shards. We're going to do level 35. Hopefully that goes pretty well. So if you guys are in the middle of these videos or you didn't start with part 1, you're wondering how the build works, what skills I'm choosing, why I chose what I chose, go check out video 1. Video 2 has the run, I do believe, or video 2 actually is this video, with the level 34 run, and then I'm going to do the level 35 run in another video, and then we're going to conclude and talk about some stuff, and then you guys will be ready to go out there and do your own pet builds and stuff like that. So I'll see you guys in part 3.